What's up, y'all? It's all about comics with your boy Corban. And I don't know about y'all, but it's Thanksgiving week. And I am pumped. I'm excited. I am so thankful for the books that are hitting the LCS this week. We're going to break a few of them down. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. So here we are, another edition of the comic preview show. Still fine-tuning the name of this, but I'm excited about where it can go. Just looking ahead, kind of a preview, little bit of a primer, same word. This coming through a Corban specific lens, though. A lot of books, as always. I like to highlight the one that I'm definitely, without a doubt, picking up, then go through a few more that I'm excited to also grab, and then finally, share a couple that kind of I'm give a peek at. It's kind of a thing as budget allows, if the mood strikes me as I go in and grab it, and when I see it shining, on the stand. It's one of those type feels for those last couple of books. But without further ado, let's get into the first one. And for me, that is Absolute Batman number 14. There is no doubt in my mind. This is the book for me. Written by Scott Snyder, art by Nick Dragotta. This is the conclusion of the Bane arc. We've seen this run over the past 6 issues. It's introduced Catwoman in all of her, big mirror head glory. Actually have grown to like the suit, but it's introduced Catwoman to us, and it's also shown the eventual transformations of Bruce's friends into, of course, Killer Croc, the Penguin, Two-Face, and the Riddler. Really interesting how Scott Snyder did that, using Bane as like the impetus along with the pre-existing relationships that each of Bruce's friends had with him to really become these characters. Notice I didn't say villain, because even by the cover, as you can see here, it looks like Killer Croc is going to be an ally for Bruce, right? Waylon Jones are going to work together. But what happened, and I'm not spoiling anything, during the course of this arc is that each character, their origin story was kind of born. The physical transformation brought about via Bane in different ways, along with the personal relationship that they share with Bruce, which I think is going to be really interesting. I look forward to seeing how Scott Snyder kind of continues to tie it in over the course of different issues as he continues this amazing run on Absolute Batman. This one, you're going to have a $4.99 cover price. You are getting 28 pages of what I think is going to be nonstop, just balls to the walls action. Excuse me for saying that. That just kind of came out. And you got 9 variant covers, 3 open order, 3 incentives, and 3 store exclusives. So I'm grabbing cover A. If you didn't hear me from the last show, literally every time I do one of these, I'm not really, if the cover, unless it's like a cover that just has my complete attention, there's a book, we're going to get to that here in a bit. I just go with the A cover, because at the end of the day, I'm just going to read it. I have some books on the back in my little background over there that I'm like, hey, nice cover. Sure, I'll put it up. But for me, it's more of what's inside than outside. This cover too, I like it. I'm curious, and I've seen some preview art here. In fact, I'm going to share some here. This is from Bleeding Cool. There was another piece of artwork that was shared, but I felt like it was definitely going to spoiler territory, so look at your own risk. But we kind of see on the right hand side kind of Bruce, because he still has the venom in him. If you haven't read the previous issues, just check them out. I'm not going to say anymore, but you can see it from the picture. Sorry. And so I wonder if it's going to be just a battle of excess, because Bane has the venom and Bruce has the venom, but Bane has more venom. And I want it to be a good, exciting issue. I am worried that it's going to be just a mass of flesh and monstrous, because you have Killer Croc looking like Godzilla, and then you have Bane who's like 9'6" and Bruce who's like 6'7". I could feel it being a mismatch, and it could be a little bit of a mess, even with Nick Dragotta and his clean artwork that I've enjoyed on this series. But that's just my only reservation for this. I don't really have a whole lot. I'm really just excited to see how this all ends. I also enjoyed on the left side, you kind of see the series of panels. What I enjoy about this is Alfred is like prepping Bruce for what he's going to need to take on Bane. And as he does this, you can see by the artwork that Bruce is anywhere but on the matter at hand. And I'm not saying that like a distracted way of like, oh, I'm not ready to fight Bane, because he is, but he sees his friends, he sees the damage that's been wreaked upon them by Bane, and it's a motivating factor. And he's getting this mismatch of like old memories and new memories, and they're all swimming to the point that at the very end he's like fuck it, I'm in, like I'm ready, you know what I mean? Like, let's go. We'll see exactly what that looks like. But I love the way that was written. Scott Snyder and Dragata have both showed it through social media that is actually like not a like that was recreated. That isn't just like, oh, we pulled these old panels over the last couple of issues and cobbled them together. That's actually done each one for this moment. And I love getting that frame of Bruce Wayne's mind in this moment as he's going to go in what up to this point is going to be battle of his life. So really excited for that one. Number 2, this is a book that would have been number 1 for me if I wasn't so excited for the end of the Bane run. But that's DCKO 2. This is Joshua Williamson, Scott Snyder. You have art by Javier Fernandez. And now here we are. We have our 32 contestants. Let's get the action going. Let's get this thing popping. Like, let's go. You know, I'm ready for some fights here. I'm really ready to see this beat 'em up element that this book and this overall event is supposed to be. You know, for me, it's like, I don't know. I just want to knock down, drag out book with action on every page. And I'm hopeful that this is the book where I get that. You know, I'm okay with letting the number 1 be kind of the preamble, the setup for the rest of it. But we got 4 books of the event minus the tie-ins. Let's see it. Let's get into it. You know, what you're trying to get into. That's what they should be saying to each other, and we should be able to see the results here. There's 40 pages, $4.99 cover price. We have a whopping 11 variant covers. You have 9 open order, 1 incentive, and 1 retailer exclusive. And I wanted to show some of the covers here, or at least a few, because this is what I mean when I say I'm not really a cover person until I am. The one in the middle, and that is a Dan Mora variant. That is the face-off variant, right? Like, you get to see the matchups. Oh, I am all about that. You know, whether that is, you know, the Joker squaring up along with Red Hood, you know, having Swamp Thing and Cyborg, you know, Aquaman, Hawkman. It's so much. Lobo and Wonder Woman. I love that panel. I love Dan Mora's art, and I think that's the perfect juxtaposition of like what we should see when we're getting ready for a fight book. So that's the one I'm gonna grab for sure. But the other ones here on the left, the far left, is the Daniel Warren Johnson cover. You see Wonder Woman just kicking the crap, or kneeing the crap rather, out of the Joker. And this is where I just want to give a brief thought, because I'm not going to wade too much into those waters. But you had the very controversial, surprisingly, Daniel Warren Johnson Batman, Absolute Batman Annual #1, right? Where it's like, oh, Batman's killing these, you know, police officers, ICE agents, whatever you want to call them, right? And it's like, no, if you are a fan of comics and you see Daniel Warren Johnson's art, it's over the top. Like right now, did Wonder Woman kill the Joker in this image? No. It's provocative. It gets the people going, you know, like it's over the top and it's bombastic, and that's Daniel Warren Johnson's art. And so when I heard that, it just felt like carrying water for whatever conversation you want to get into that's outside of comics and way into politics, in as much as those two don't intertwine, because I do think that comics can be, you know, a lot of things. But with that being said, I just wanted to use that example. I'm not going to grab that one. Daniel Warren Johnson's art, to each their own, not necessarily one that's for me. But that's okay. I'm enough of a comic student to know that Daniel Warren Johnson, anyone who reads his work, you know, you can see it. That's how he draws. That's how he emotes. That's how he brings to life the characters and the movement and the combat. And so I didn't understand the reaction that came from Absolute Batman the Annual, except for people who wanted to be angry about that one. So yeah, just wanted to get that out there and comment on that as it relates to variant covers. The last one, by the way, is a Javier Fernandez Virgin foil. It's cool. Like I'm not the cover king, you know, like that's not my lane. So I'm gonna stay in mine, which is, oh, the cover looks cool, I'm gonna grab it. But yeah, those are 3 variant covers that I'm sure people will be jumping all over for. I'm really more concerned with what's in the book, and I am excited. Like, it's not to the level of Absolute Batman, but it's right up there, because I have been talking about this with most of my friends. Shout out to Marco, Double O, Pete, all y'all guys, y'all know how I feel about DCKO. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Justice League Unlimited. Now, this one is fun. I am a big fan of Mark Waid. I'm gonna shout out another one of my good friends here, Josh. Mentioned Mark Waid before, Kingdom Come, DC, guy who's read every DC comic. Like, he is a master at what he does from a comic book creating standpoint. And I am a fan of his mastery of the characters, the deep tapestry of the lore behind DC, behind Marvel. He gets all of that. And with him alongside Dan Mora, that is just a dream team. Literally a dream team. I've loved everything they've collabed on. This is Justice League Unlimited. They've done most of the run there. Batman Superman World's Finest, you also have that done there. They are just so good. But in this one, this continuing the Terrific 10 storyline, and this is where you have Mr. Terrific working with a group of time-displaced heroes to try to figure out how to restore some order in the midst of the DCKO event. And the Terrific 10, they're one of my favorite team within a team groups, and they consist of a past version of Arthur Curry as Aquaman. You have Batman Beyond, but instead of Terry McGinnis is Tim Drake from Future's End. You have Dr. Fate, and this is Sophie from Pre-Zero Hour. You have Gold Hawk of Andrino. Green Lantern, this is the Alan Scott from Earth 96. Then you have Owlwoman from DC 1 Million. Power Girl, which is Kara Zor-El, this is the past version, as well as Superman Blue. Check out the mid-90s for those who don't know. But this Clark Kent from the past, electric powers, all of that, whole nother subject. And then you have Warrior, which is Guy Gardner, also a past version. So these are the 10 characters that are working alongside Mr. Terrific to put down a variety of issues. Right now you have parademons going on. There's trouble with the time trapper. Is he alive? Is he dead? What's going on there? The Earth is swallowing up the remaining members of the JLU. It's all there, and I love it. I love the artwork again. Moore does a really good job of making this clean, crisp artwork that showcases every character in a unique way. But I enjoy that you have a Batman and a Superman and a Aquaman in this team, and they're all different versions that happen to fit, but are also oddly out of place, and in this book, out of time. And I think that perfectly just encapsulates what draws me to this book. 40 pages. You're going to get a lot of stuff in this one. You have a $3.99 cover price. That is a pretty good deal. 4 variant covers as well. Again, I'm just grabbing that first one because, like, looks just so nice. But I'm very excited for it. All right. Next book I'm definitely going to be grabbing is Daredevil Punisher, The Devil's Trigger. And this is written by Jimmy Palmiotti, and it's art by Tommaso Bianchi. I think I said that right. Yes, Bianchi. I should have reset it just before I came on here, but here we are. This is pretty simple. Daredevil, Punisher, it's a classic combination. You got Nucci and the Nucci family in the mix. And if you aren't familiar with that, shout out to the classic Punisher line, Welcome Back, Frank. That came out 2001. And that's a 12-issue comic book series. Got Garth Ennis writing it. You got the amazing art of the late, great Steve Dillon. And Jimmy Palmiotti was also a part of that. Hence why you get this correlation between the Nucci family back then and them now, right? That's what you get. That was under the Marvel Knights imprint. You're getting this now in a more general area, which I'm really a fan of. I can't wait to see what this looks like. But anytime you get Daredevil and the Punisher together, you're going to have fun. That's just what it's going to be. You got 32 pages for this, $4.99 cover price, 7 variant covers as well, 4 of them open order, 3 incentive. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at the art. The story's going to be great. You can look back at cartoons. You can look back at many different comics. You can look back at the Daredevil series, both the old Netflix version and the Disney one, and see that when you get these two characters together, the juxtaposition of how they look at justice and what that means for each one and how they interact and clash with each other, in the hands of writers who really get the characters, it's perfection. And Jimmy Palmiotti is one of those guys who definitely gets it. So really excited to see what this series looks like. Bringing back an old mob family from the past, chef's kiss. All right, this book is an interesting one. Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia #1. And this is going to be helmed double duty by Gabriel Hardman, who is both writing and doing the art for this. You have Romulo Fajardo on colors with this, and you can kind of see it's these muted colors, but smokiness. It really feels like an 80s type DC book, which I'm going to get to in a second. But the general synopsis: the Green Arrow, the Question, and the Batman all head on a collision course. There's this mysterious Arcadia project. All three have different interests as to why they're investigating that. And you are getting three noirish, well, two for sure between Batman and the Question. And the way that Green Arrow is being written in this one makes it three. But you're getting these three kind of noirish, gumshoe kind of investigators, detectives, that sort of thing on a case where they interact with each other and the world around them. I am very pumped for this. And it's being sold as a DC Black Label title that is, quote, a hard-boiled modern twist on the DC social thrillers of the 1980s, updating this opinionated trio of lone wolf vigilantes for the era of open-class warfare and ecological collapse, end quote. Listen, when I hear 80s DC social thrillers, I immediately think back to Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns or Mike Grell's Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters, which, in my opinion, are at the upper echelon of this gritty genre where it's a character deep dive, almost a deconstruction of this character relative to the world around them, where you do have these greater social themes and, as it says, these greater ecological themes around them and how they kind of help to dictate the way the character responds. I am excited for this. We'll see where it stacks up, if it ultimately is as great a book as I think it will be, or if it falls just a little bit flat. But I'm coming in with the energy that it's going to be a good one. I'm excited for it. I'm very intrigued. Can't wait to pick it up. 32 pages, $5.99 cover price. This comes in that good cardstock cover. So, if I don't scream Black Label to you, I don't know what does. Gonna get 3 variant covers as well, but why would I mess with the best right there? And I really do like that first one. All right, let's go to just some books I'll be keeping an eye on. The Marvel Knights Punisher 2. You got a lot of Punisher out right now. The Red Band, you have the Punisher Daredevil crossover, and of course now Marvel Knights. Again, written by Jimmy Palmiotti. Gets the character. I love it. Definitely going to be checking that out. $4.99 cover price for 32 pages. Absolute Wonder Woman, number 14. Kelly Thompson did the writing on that. The art was done by Matias Bergata. $4.99 cover price. Got 32 pages on that. Again, standard. Haven't been reading a lot of Absolute Wonder Woman, but I think I will get into that here soon. I've been catching up between Absolute Batman and a lot of the Batman books, which, that's where my slant is. I really got to diversify and get back. But I've read a few Absolute Wonder Woman and been impressed with them. For some comic critics, that book is one of the best Absolute books out. And when I say one of the best, I mean better than the Absolute Batman book. I don't share that opinion, but some do, and I respect them for that. So that is one for sure. And then lastly, Superman 32 is written by Joshua Williamson, art by Eddie Barrow. This is going to concern Superman in this DCKO fight. Lex Luthor is a part of the story. Why is Lex Luthor there? How did he get out of where he was, kept before? Again, not spoiling, but he wasn't supposed to be in this tournament. So how is he there now? That's the gist of the story, at least what I'm sharing with y'all. And it's $4.99. You got 32 pages. Again, standard material there. But yeah, that's a wrap on this weekend, or this week rather. Looking forward to this weekend, hoping that everybody is able to go in, read some great books. During Thanksgiving weekend, I'm gonna pour through some immediately, just tear through some Wednesday. But hopefully people are gonna be able to read those over Thursday as well, in between your turkey, your stuffing, your mashed potatoes, all that good stuff. Enjoy it, relax. I think there's nothing better than good family, good friends, good times, good food, and most of all, good comics. So definitely make sure to check that out, y'all. I'm really looking forward to my own time with my family, but my friends and those near me, and these great books as well. All right, y'all. As always, you have any questions, comments, dope ideas, hit me up. Email comicbookbarbarian@gmail.com. But maybe a little more easier to find than my Gmail account would be Facebook or Instagram, where you can look at Corban Loves Comics. That will pop up there. But really do appreciate y'all, as always, for taking the time. Second in a row, second week. I think we may be finding a rhythm here. You can see the background got a little bit better going on. I got to get that side done. But it's starting to take a little more shape and get a little more proud of it. So thank y'all again for tuning in, as y'all do. Really appreciate it. Keep reading great books, y'all. We'll talk again real soon.